Everyone, so I know I'm a little late with this, but it's 2015, and since 2014 was the year of Goodreads for me, I figured 2015 would be the year of Booktube. So here goes my top 14 of 2014. 14th spot, I have Anna and the French Kiss. I actually had no faith that I was going to like this book, because the ones that are all hyped up are usually the ones I don't like. But this was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Haven't gotten on to the next two books, Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and the Happily Ever After, but I look forward to it after reading this book. 13, I have a book that I actually don't own. It's called More Than This by Jay McLean. I look forward to owning it because it was absolutely amazing. It has companion novels to it as well, More Than Him, More Than Her, More Than Forever, more than a lot of things. It's really good. I loved it. I loved all the others, and I can't wait to own them. Highly recommend them. 12, it's another series that was so hyped up. I had no faith that I was really going to like it, but it was amazing. Just The Darkest Minds. It's like a fantasy, which for me is really weird. I don't like fantasy books, but I've discovered I kind of do. I kind of really do. So I love this book, and right after I read it, went out and got Never Fade, and then right after that, I couldn't even wait to pre-order the next book, so I just read it on my Kobo, and then I bought it. So yeah, get this series. It's amazing. Spot on my list, I have a book that I've seen on pretty much everyone's shelves. I'm not sure if they've read it or not, because they don't have the other two. It's part of a trilogy, and I loved it. I got the first book for only $1 from Indigo. Pretty sure that's why everyone else has it. It is Slated by Terry Terry. Second book is Fractured. Third book is Shattered. They're amazing books. It's about this girl, Kyla, who has her memory erased. They do that for criminals, but they find out they're actually doing it to innocent people, putting these chips in their brains, messing up their memories, and putting them in new families. There's a romance in it, although it's not too heavy. It's really amazing. If you have the first book, you really need to read it, at least try it, and then hopefully you'll get on to the next two because they are amazing. Series is also one that I don't own, but I absolutely adore. It's the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer series. It's amazing. I loved it. I read it in like 2 days. Honestly, it's so paranormal. Everyone talks about it. It messes with your brain. I told everyone at work about it. They're all hyped up about it. I have to own these books so I can give them to all my friends. They're awesome. Highly recommend it. Ninth spot in my countdown, I have Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. It's a new adult novel. It's really good. I loved it. It's pretty much one of the top new adult novels on all of the Listopia sites on Goodreads. It's awesome. So cute. It's about Abby Abernathy and Travis Maddox brothers. It's a good book. Go read it. For the 8th spot in my countdown, I have a series that I heard about from another YouTuber. I kind of just went into Indigo and saw it, recognized it, bought it, and then I had to go back to Indigo and buy the next two books like immediately after, because this ending, it's honestly amazing. This series is incredible. It's the Breathing series by Rebecca Donovan. First book is Reason to Breathe. Second book is Barely Breathing. And last book is Out of Breath. It's about this teenage girl. She's living with her aunt and uncle after her dad passed away, and her mother kind of went cuckoo, alcohol, all that fun stuff. But she meets this guy, and his name's, oh crap, I think it's Evan. Oh crap. It's really cute. She falls in love, and that's what helps get her out of this slump. There's a lot that happens in all three books. A lot of drama. It's really intense. Really intense. It took me like a week to get through it because it was a lot. The abuse, it was really serious, but it's an amazing series. Please read it. It's really worth it. The book is also a book that I don't own. It's Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. One of the first books I read this year was Hopeless by Colleen Hoover, and I loved it. So I had to go out and read another one of her books, and it was so cute. It's about this girl, her best friend cheats with her boyfriend, and then she ends up living with her neighbor who ends up being deaf, and they fall in love, but he has like this girlfriend who's got a disease and is like dying, so he's faithful to her, but he's in love with Sydney, and then it's like it's really intense, and then in the end they get together, and it is so cute, so adorable. I love Colleen Hoover, and that's one of my favorite books by her. It's amazing. Another book that I don't own, it's Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I was honestly kind of apprehensive about it. If you read the description, it's kind of hard to see how it would be so good, but it really is. It's an adult novel about this girl. She applies for a job to help basically be like a hospice nurse for this guy who is paralyzed from the neck down. And she finds out later on that he's actually planning on going to Switzerland. I think that was it, Switzerland. Somewhere, wherever it is, that he can have assisted suicide, because he used to be really active, and the accident and having... Oh, someone's texting me. No. This accident, it caused him to be paralyzed, so he's not as active, he can't move, he can barely eat, he can't even lift up his arms, and at first he's so against her being there, he can't stand it, he just wants to go, and he just wants to die. And she finds out later on that the parents of this guy, they only got her to work for them to sort of, I guess, seduce them into wanting to live. I'm bad at descriptions, but it's really good. They end up falling in love, and the ending, it breaks your heart, but it's understandable, and it is so beautiful. If you love Fault in Our Stars, any sort of book where the main character, I'm giving it away, but the main character dies, and it just brings you to tears. I cried so much during that book, more than The Fault in Our Stars, more than pretty much any other book. It's beautiful. Please read it. That was horrible. Fourth spot on my list, I have a new release for this year. I didn't expect to like it. As I said, I'm not much of a fantasy person, but it's The Young Elites by Marie Lu, and I loved it. I was so ticked off when I found out that it's a series, and this is the first book, and the next book doesn't even have a title to it yet. I'm seriously, I'm dying. I need the next book. This was so amazing, so cute. The romance in it was beautiful, and everything about it was so good. I didn't expect to like it, but I loved it, and then I immediately went out and bought the Legend box set because it was so good. I've heard sort of mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it. I loved it, which is very shocking. Not a fantasy person, and I loved it. Best book yet. So good. Spot my countdown, I have a trilogy, although I don't know if you want to call it a trilogy. You can read one and you can just not read the others, but they're all amazing. It's a Crash trilogy. It's Crash, Clash, and Crush by Nicole Williams. It's so cute. It starts off sort of like a young adult, but then it becomes more of a new adult. They go through high school together. He's sort of a bad boy. She's the perfect good girl. It's very classic, but it's done so well. Nicole Williams is an amazing author. Please read them. They are so good. Third book, the last three. The third one is The Sea of Tranquility, which I don't own, but I loved it. It's by Katja Millay. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's her only book. It was amazing. It was so cute. It's about this girl. She was attacked and nearly died and everything. They never caught the guy who did it, but she ends up moving in with her aunt across the city or something, goes to a different school, and she stops talking because I guess the trauma got to her. She didn't want to tell anyone that she did in fact remember what happened and everything, where she told the cops, the police, everyone who's trying to solve the crime. She didn't tell them anything because she didn't want to remember, but she did remember, and it was eating at her, so she just stopped talking. And then she meets this guy, of course there's always a guy, and she ends up talking to him, and she won't tell him anything about what happened, what made her stop talking, but he wants to know. They fall in love. It's really, really good. It's a very classic romance, but I loved it. It's her only book. Please read it. It's so good. countdown is another new adult novel. It sort of has companion novels. It's sort of a series. It's The Coincidence of Callie and Caden by Jessica Sorensen. It's so adorable. This is one that I keep going back to and rereading because it is so good. It's about this girl, Callie. She is raped when she was 12 years old, and then she sort of becomes an outcast. She cuts off all her hair, stops talking to people, and people make fun of her. It's really sad. And then there's Caden, who is being abused by his father, and along with his brothers as well. They were all being abused, and he also cuts himself to, and they never really knew each other that well. They were sort of friends as kids in their hometown, but they run into each other at college, and they end up falling in love. It's all really cute, but then there's all the drama about their past, and Caden gets himself into trouble by the end of this book for defending her, which leads us to the redemption of Callie and Caden, and this year's release, which was the resolution of Callie and Caden. Such good books. I love them. I keep going back and having to reread them because they are so cute. Definitely recommend these. And on my countdown is, of course, one that I've already mentioned because it is that awesome, and it is Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. It was one of the first books I read this year. I got it as a recommendation on Goodreads, just based on other books that I've read. I wasn't so sure about it. I thought, the cover, I don't know. I wasn't too fussy about it. I thought I probably wouldn't like it, or it would just be one of those whatever sort of romances, but oh my god, it was so good. This is what got me. This is at the pyramid of all my books, because on Goodreads it tells you if you like this book you should check out these. That's how I got to Jamie Maguire and K.A. Tucker and all these other amazing authors, was through this book, and then just down. All of these amazing books are because of this one. It's my all-time favorite. I'd read it over and over again for the rest of my life. It's so good. So good. Best book ever. My top 14, but I read 164 books last year. 164. So narrowing it down to 14 was really, really hard. So I figured I'd have a list of some honorable mentions who were right there, almost made it, but these ones beat them out. Here's just the honorable mentions of 2014. In my honorable mentions is The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmersky. I heard about this from another YouTuber, and I absolutely adored it. It's a road trip book. These two people, they literally meet on a bus and decide to just drive throughout the country together. The guy ends up actually being sick, and they fall in love. She stays with him. She ends up being pregnant. It's so good. I loved it. You can read it on its own, or better yet, you can read The Edge of Always, which is the continuation of The Edge of Never. It's basically the wrap-up for them. Everything's just so perfect in this book. There's a lot of drama, a lot of heartache, a lot of tears, but it is so good. I love these books, and I wish they could have been the top 14, but they didn't make it. On my honorable mentions is 10 Tiny Breaths by K.A. Tucker. Like I said, Hopeless, it led me to a lot of other books, and this was one of them. It was so good. It's about this girl, Casey. She ends up in an accident, loses basically her entire family, her best friend, her boyfriend, and she moves clear across the country to avoid their aunt and uncle because her little sister was being sort of groomed by the uncle, and she saw it, decided to run away. They saved up enough money and they got away, but they meet this guy and he ends up falling for her. It's really intense because he's not who he's saying he is, and it's honestly such a good book, and I had to buy it because I actually met the author. It's so good. I was so happy to meet her. It was amazing. This is an awesome book. I haven't yet to read any of the other ones in this series. I think it's because this one set such a high standard that I can't look past it. It's just too good. If I were to read another one, I just want to come back and read this one instead. It was that good. Such a good book. My honorable mentions is, of course, one that you're probably expecting because, the movie came out and it was freaking, well, it sucked in comparison to the books, but it's the Divergent trilogy. I actually just got this on box set for Christmas, and it's so pretty because I originally read it on audiobook because it was a couple of days before the movie was released, and I had to read it, and I kind of killed the movie for myself because it is, I don't know how anyone else felt about it, but in comparison with the books, I really hated that movie. But Shailene Woodley, you know, I don't know what to think. But the books are amazing. Just so good. Honorable mention. Yeah. My honorable mentions is one that you're probably wondering why I wasn't in the top 14, since I said I love Colleen Hoover, and I do, because Slammed is in honorable mentions. I've read all of these originally on my Kobo, and then I got them off Book Outlet for super-de-duper cheap, and it's honestly so cute. Teacher, if you like Pretty Little Liars and the Aria and what's his name? Aria and that teacher, you'd love this because it's really cute, and there's a lot of sadness in it, but it's so cute. It's like forbidden love and just so adorable. Love this. And if you love poetry, I don't know why you haven't read this yet. It has poetry in it. Slammed. It's awesome. And of course, another Colleen Hoover book which just came out this year. It's Ugly Love, which I have signed to me. Yeah. I was so happy to meet her. I told her that Hopeless was basically the book that led to everything, and this one, it's going to be a movie. I'm not sure if it's positive, but I'm following the guy on Twitter, and he seems to think it's going to be a movie, and he's going to be starring it, and he's freaking hot. So you got to read this before the movie comes out, because it is so good. It will make you cry. I'm warning you, it really will make you cry. But it's totally worth it. It's Colleen Hoover. Come on. I want to list every single book that's on my shelf as another honorable mention, but I'm going to cut this one as the last one. It's Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I don't know how to say that last name. But I had no faith in this. None. I thought I'd hate it. I originally got it for my sister because she's a Harry Potter fan, and she just went off to college. I thought it would be, like, Kath would be similar to her, but she was more like Ren, and I'm more like Kath, so I really related to her very strongly. It was so cute. I read Eleanor and Park, and I'm sorry, but I couldn't stand it. I barely got through it. I really didn't like it. And then I was spoiled as the ending, so I couldn't stand it. But this one, it's so cute. It's on like Stephanie Perkins cute level. It's adorable. It reminded me so much of me, because in my first year of college, I basically lived off Fiber One bars and Diet Coke, so Ren's basically me, but 2 years ago. I'm a little more out of my shell now, a little bit. I don't have a boyfriend though, so that needs to happen. That was my top 14 of 2014. Please share any of your books down below. Let me know what you thought of the ones that I loved. And hopefully I'll have another video up soon that you can watch. Like this if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to. I'm new to this, so hopefully I did okay. Leave any tips or anything down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.